There's a young man. I tend to his grave. I brought this for you. It was my mom's. I wanted you to have it. That's really weird, Lisa.
There were quite a few scenes that made me laugh out loud, and that's not a common thing.
No reception. Dead meat.
Even with comedy scripts, because usually you kind of have to create laughs.
It was never my intention to make this movie funny, but there's so many funny things about reanimating a corpse. I thought about if he starts crying, what if his tears smell rancid?
God damn it, when you cry, it smells like a hot toilet in a carnival.
It was supposed to be an emotional moment, but then it became funny. I can't help myself.
I think with most of the stuff Diablo writes, there's some fantasy fulfillment, and I think the idea that you could take this sort of Victorian gentleman from a different era when people were treated differently and people acted differently, and bring him into a modern age and almost literally help to fix him and create the perfect boyfriend. It just makes it so relatable. It's really funny, but it's also really heartfelt.
You can look at his stomach because there's a sound we're adding later of like bubbling. When she gets back to his face is when we would set it off. I was so excited to read a female character that was so unapologetically silly and unhinged and delightful, and she was still going through quite a lot. Navigating grief and navigating young love and navigating being an outsider. But in those struggles for her, she was quite effervescent and so specifically a woman that I would have related to at that age range.
It's for people like us with feelings.
I have young nieces and nephews, and I've always wanted to give them a movie like this that I got to grow up with and they didn't.
I want that. Can't believe I'm in a Diablo Cody movie. It's the kind of dialogue that I never want to mess up. You have a point there.
She has this razor-sharp wit, and this one I found to be so fun and in a totally different wheelhouse.
There's like no blandness in any of the choices of these characters. They're so fully realized on the page. All the young actors we got really understood the kind of person they were gonna be. They really just felt like they were in this big, wonderful space to like expand as far as they could.
And I love to hear that. And you directed those performances so beautifully, so it's just watching this script come alive was a real privilege for me.
Working with Zelda as a director has been really fantastic. I've worked with a lot of first-time directors, but working with Zelda, the way she runs the set and the way she treats the crew is just so mature. Everyone's been so happy to be here and work for her.
You kind of go up to him and then you whack him. We'll have Chelsea walk you guys through that.
I feel very privileged to bring her vision to life.
Copy.
She knows exactly what she wants. And this project was the kind of movie I know that the both of us, when we were children, would turn on first and foremost.
It's a very collaborative process. She gives us the time to prepare for a scene. She's very generous with her own time.
She's enhancing me and bringing so much to this role, and I really do think she's the heart of this movie.
Every great director I've ever worked with has a very strong hand, but also is absolutely open to collaboration. The script is so strong, but there's also room for play that both Zelda encourages and Diablo was very excited to see. This is such a passion project for everybody.
I've been doing this for quite some time, and you know when you've met the right fit in terms of a director for your project. I just knew that we had a similar sensibility, that we wanted to tell the story in the same way, and I just think you knew what Lisa Frankenstein needed. The 80s were the perfect decade in which to tell the story.
It's 1989. People have sex out of wedlock all the time these days.
I grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the era of big hair, the original goth music. I had never really had an opportunity to tell a story at that time, and I was like, I gotta do it.
I had so much fun pulling all these images and these references, making this homage to what she had already put so much effort into in creating this world and these characters.
Oh, that's so cute.
I really felt that every department was palpably excited about the creative process and the 80s of it all.
The 80s, the music is everything. I get to sing an REO Speedwagon song in this movie. I get to have good hair. All the kids are doing it, you know.
It started with the wig and the long hair and the frizz. Kathryn loves the big hair.
I don't think that blush is your shade, Lisa. It's so fun to experience the 80s in America and get to see the makeup and hair looks, the costumes.
It's the little things that you get the period across.
Megan, our costume designer, had a really good arsenal of vintage pieces. I got to wear the coolest weird pajamas. The hardest part was how do you find modern things and make them 80s?
All of Kathryn's bits are iconic.
A lot of it was taken from my personal closet. I used to wear these shorts with the button up and the brooch right here, and then the blossom hat. That was written into the script. They wanted her to go kind of goth and dark, but keep it still in the late 80s. Kathryn really loved the clothes, so we had a lot of fun in that fitting.
Good morning.
Is that Sherry?
No, it's Lisa.
Shooting this movie was a challenge because we had to find locations that felt true to the time period. You don't want to mess up that late 80s architecture, that late 80s color scheme. Our production designer, Mark, did such a great job finding so many pieces in so many places and build on top of it.
We had to dig into the 80s of it. So we talked about palette a lot, and a lot of that, Diablo's got it in the writing. So we use sort of strong colors to sort of heighten the thing and make you realize you're not in a completely realistic suburban context. You don't question for a minute the interiors we came up with.
Throughout the house, it has a lot of different elements, and it's made to look really interesting. It's loud, it's almost bubblegum, very of the decade.
The house is this sort of symphony of pink and seafoam, right? That's Janet's world.
Lisa, did you smash the mirror in the bathroom?
Janet lives in Janet's world. One of the things that Zelda said to me, she said, the way I'm doing the production design, the way I'm designing the house, not a single other person's personality is in one iota of it. It is all Janet. She has created a perfect world and a perfect family in her mind, and she cannot imagine how Lisa would not want to be a part of it.
Do you know what happens to people who act out? They wind up in the loony bin.
It's all a crazy style, but it is just so.
Initially, when I had thought about how is the creature going to be reanimated, I had thought it would be a curling iron that malfunctions. But I knew that that didn't really make sense, and I couldn't really figure out how to make it work. I fondly remember those claustrophobic tanning beds from the 80s, and I thought, oh my God, this is it. The housing for the tanning beds in this shed that is filled with all of Taffy's awards. It's like a shrine to Taffy. It's amazing.
Zelda's idea was, this is Taffy's little world. Janet has given her the shed, so it's all her trophies and all the stuff from her cheerleading, and then the tanning bed in the back. That was a happy accident.
That was actually just that lovely couple's garden shed, and we were like, we're gonna empty this all out and put a Taffy shrine in here.
It worked out perfect.
This movie pays homage to so many fun things in the 80s, but it isn't derivative. It has a very strong point of view. Zelda has a really unique eye.
I feel like it's really bringing back the old 80s sense of humor. It's a refreshing throwback.
I can't do that. Not until we bury the body. This movie is so out there and funny. It's so camp. The world is so heightened. I'm very happy being in the 80s. I'm taking it with me. Bitchin'.
Hi, sorry, how do we know each other?
Just a couple classes.
This year?
Lisa's this girl who doesn't love herself very much. She doesn't think she matters very much. And she brings this guy back from the dead. It changes everything about her. The fact that someone listens. Can you hear me?
She has lost her mother, and everybody just wants her to move on. Falling in love with this dead man allows her to literally embrace her grief.
He has like the sweetest vulnerability. This perfect Prince Charming covered in mud. You're him? He just lets her be her. I'm not afraid of death anymore. But I don't want to die a virgin.
The theme of young women sort of coming into their power and perhaps being corrupted by it is something that I have visited time and time again in my work. I do live vicariously through the characters that I create. Lisa is probably the most powerless, the most submissive lead that I've ever written, so it was especially satisfying to watch her become confident and murderous even.
I really wanted to find someone that not only could carry a whole film, but could do so with so much humor. And Kathryn had this delightful, silly energy.
Welcome to 1989.
She's hilarious and very talented at what she does. I can't imagine how this movie would have lived without her. She cares a lot, which is the most reassuring thing you can ask for with someone you're working with.
I have the cure. Oh, no. It's not that kind of cure.
What I love about the creature is he literally is doing anything and everything for this girl that he has fallen in love with, yet she cannot see it because he's not able to verbally express it. He's yearning to be there for the person that he loves.
They fulfill a really lovely thing for each other. I mean, also a very unhinged thing for each other, but I'm very fond of the idea that she comes to love him and he's patient in waiting for that to happen.
He wants to be her protector and try to make her feel heard and understood, and she's trying to heal. I think he's trying to show, through just movement and action, really, that he's deeply in love with her, or at the bare minimum, incredibly grateful for what she's done.
Creature was always going to be an interesting part to cast because he's a male lead who doesn't speak. And I wasn't sure how many men were going to be gung-ho about that. But I've known Cole for years now. I wanted him to go and take mime classes, and he ended up loving it so much.
When I was a kid, I always wanted to play a monster. Always wanted to play a monster. Creature is a very different kind of monster. I knew it would be a heavy physical role, and I had worked very extensively to try and break down his movements into really 5 sequences. Every time he steps into the tanning booth and gets a new body part back, he enters into a new phase that is more human than the last. He's going back into his Victorian etiquette, and then only very rarely does he break the etiquette when the mask sort of falls away, when the grace sort of falls away, and he becomes what looks to be a much more modern, emotional, vulnerable person.
We have a great thing, and he's just been a really good scene partner. He lets me try things, he lets me express myself, and he's so intelligent.
Cole had so much fun, I think, as well, finding a physicality that felt like a whole human being. Like, he's literally missing pieces, but he had such a blast finding that version of a man, of like this guy who is actively trying to be put back together again by someone.
Hey! Don't kirk out on me, man!
They also have this kind of symbiotic relationship where he gets rid of people that she no longer needs in her life, and she, in turn, supplies him with body parts. You know, is it a dysfunctional relationship? Yes, but it's also, I think, quite beautiful.
It's been a dream. Cole and I keep talking about how I don't think we'll ever do anything this weird and great again, because nobody does anything like this anymore. We are not holding back. We're just taking a risk. So it's been fun.
How good did that take, huh?
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
All right, let's shoot.
Are we cut?
All right, 104 Charlie, take 2, A-cam, B-cam.
What? I'm not a skeezer.
Sorry, it went into the bowl.
Taffy says you gotta hose the rose.
Oh, hold on. The star dropped. I'm not gonna take it.
Don't move.
Come on, dude. We want you to shine, man. You need your SAG credit.
Keep going, buddy. You're doing it.
You're a
You're
star.
doing it.
Okay, cut.
Kathryn.
It's kind of sweet.
That hand was gonna do nothing but bad. Stop it. That hand was... Now listen. No, we're gonna do it. Jam it. Big cut. Damn it.
Cutting.
Sex.
I know you come from a very repressed culture.
What am I supposed to do? Just go?
Oh.
That was good. What's so funny? My mom died.
Oh, Mary dear.
Get me out of here!
I'm gonna call the cops. It's very impressive how well you were able to dismember a body. I always wondered how deep. And you just... Have you done it before? You don't have to tell me. I understand if you don't want to tell me that. It's a little bit personal. This is good. Hi. Hey, I wanted to say thank you for everything. You were perfect. You're a really, really incredible friend. It's okay. No one's home! Come on!
I'm here outside of the Swallows' home today where a fire raged until 3 a.m. After putting that out, firefighters were able to remove the remains of Lisa Swallows.